I got to make sure that this is shared out. So let me get that done real quick. I'm back. All right, so anyway, I am live. I am here. I don't know how long I'll be on. Probably like 20 minutes, half hour, you know me. So anyway, one of the guys, that was Mike Ayers, hi Kim, discovered that there was a Ray book recently dumped on Audible. Now y'all know Audible. You know, you download the books and you can listen to them. I don't belong to that. I don't, you know, if I want to listen to a book, I'll buy the CD if they have it out. I'll just buy the recording, physical. So it's like having the book. It's called Jaw Attack on Jacko or something like that. It's the thumbnail. Now, this goes along with what we've been saying. First off, fuck stick. I got sick in 1987. My voice is like this. Trust me, I've had medical attention. Why don't you go turn your face towards the east and pray and leave me the fuck out of your miserable little shit bird life and stay in your third world country? There, Rayhan. Fuck off. Anyway, so what I'm thinking is that we're going to see a lot of shit just dumped. Now, if you remember, back in June, Pablo Hidalgo's visual guide to the trash light was put out for sale, published, and no one watched it. No one bought it. Nobody. Why? Because no one, I mean, who watched the trash light beyond the 5 people who voted for Kamala Harris? I mean, you know, so we've got this book out there, and I'm starting to think they're putting distance. They're like isolating the sequel trilogy is what they're doing. We've got Mando and Grogu, which is now creeping up into that timeline, and then we've got Starfighter 5 years after that garbage was supposed to end. And they're filming now. I don't know if you guys knew that, but Starfighter is in principal photography as we speak. So it is going to be very interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. You know, to me, you know, after having discussions on Cameron Pasha's Patreon about it, and see what other people are saying, it looks to me, just, all right, that what they're doing is they are basically trying to take that era and pull it apart, right? And this is Kathleen Kennedy's last thing. I think it's probably the last movie that she'll be named as an executive producer, and I think Ahsoka too. Now, I know someone's invariably going to say, but she's not listed as a producer on Rebels and that stupid show Resistance. No, she's not, because she doesn't consider animation anything for an adult and a professional filmmaker like her to pay attention to. Pretentious much? It's, to me, it's a little bit, it shows you what people like her really don't know about the history of film. Animation started like when? I mean, back in the, you know, around between 1910 and 1920, and then it just grew. And it was part of the movie going experience. It's really interesting to me when you're, watching all this going on, and you realize that you would think someone like Kathleen Kennedy would know the value of animation, right? George Lucas started out in animation when he was going to school for film at USC. And that to me is a very big deal because you've got someone who thinks in that way, walking onto a movie set, Finian's Rainbow, which was, I think, the first movie Francis Ford Coppola ever directed. And he was really bored. Coppola said, look around and see what you like. That's how he got introduced to narrative film. Live, I guess I'm gonna say live filming, live things. But animation, I mean, he's never forgotten animation. I mean, look, we had the shorts that came out before the Revenge of the Sith, which I think were maybe not aesthetically pleasing. I have a hard time with the really exaggerated art in animation. The closer to reality, there was a type of animation that came out of, I think, Britain in the U.S. back in the late 60s, early 70s. And if you look up, not A Tale of Two Cities, but A Christmas Carol, animated and put in 1971, you'll see what I mean. There's something a little more, I think, that there's more effort into that, right? There's more effort into it. And I like that better. I actually have to admit, I'm starting to like anime, right? I'm starting to go, this might be the future of storytelling here, at least in the animated process, because, while CGI animation is cool, and while digital animation is cool, when you look at Clone Wars animation and you look at the characters, it's a little bit, I like it, but if you gave me Disney doing it and the artists that did Snow White and, well, not Snow White, but the artists that did Cinderella, the 101 Dalmatians would be more my thing, because there's so much meticulous effort. I mean, to me, I look at the 7-minute shorts, the Bugs Bunny, Warner Brothers stuff that were made to basically fill in before the main feature of a movie came out. They were made to be part of the movie-going experience, which is why you see cross-dressing Bugs Bunny in some. Those animated shorts had a lot of effort put into them, a lot of effort. Hanna-Barbera, Tom and Jerry, tons of effort. The old school 1930s animated shorts from Disney. Dare I guess, probably the greatest single animated film of all time, Fantasia by Disney. To me, the more effort that it looks like you put into it, the more interesting it's going to be beyond the story, right? Carrie's Clone Wars on is the stories, because they are very good stories. They're well written. That's where the effort was put in. And of course, with the digital animation, George was like, we should do this. Okay, fine, whatever, you're the boss. But, we've got this animation thing coming on, and we've got another round of Star Wars Visions coming. and which is going to be interesting. But you're seeing something. You're seeing a complete like isolation of the sequel trilogy, to where, you know, Mando and Grogu aren't going to mention it. Starfighter is not touching any of it. None of the Skywalker saga at all. Okay, and now we've got this book, this random book that we'd never heard of. Jaw Attack at Jakku, or Jaw of Jakku. I don't know what it's called, but it's a Rey adventure on her, you know, planet, and it's like, thanks, Ian. And who's gonna want that, right? I mean, look, they can't get people to buy her figures anymore. They haven't made them. Hasbro won't make them. They're repackaging old figures. They're still trying to sell Last Jedi Reys at Ollie's and other discount stores, the buyout stores. So it's really interesting to me. Now, there's nothing been announced. No, she doesn't. I mean, she doesn't exist anywhere. It's really interesting. We haven't heard of any word on the Karen McCarthy lawsuit. And to me, because it concerns literally the worst thing that ever came out of the Kennedy era besides The Last Jedi and sequels, the Trashlight, that is the one I'm looking forward to. Because if it goes to trial and they're alleging criminal fraud, there's a lot of shit going down. All right, there will be a lot of shit going down. You know, we know Gina got her job back, and if people are saying, oh, she's sued to get her job back. That was one of the things. And when you read the press release from Lucasfilm, they were very gracious about everything. Like, go back and read the press release. So, you know, this is, they could film pickups for the Mando and Grogu, which I think they probably are and will. Gina has said she's getting herself back into shape, and that's good. She needs to. I mean, you know, you never, look, in a job like hers, you never know when you're going to have to be in front of a camera, right? And that's just the thing. But with this Karen McCarthy thing, I'm actually more interested in that now than anything else. And the reason why is what the Karen McCarthy's lawyers are alleging: criminal fraud. You know, when we were looking at this, when it was first announced that she was doing that, we're like, when they asked her to be the line producer, there wasn't an okay for the movie. And if she had known, she would have gone with Sugar. She did not. They're going into a second season of Sugar. And there you go. Okay, there you go. Now, I'm going to get off the Star Wars thing for a minute. As you all know, I'm a history major. American history, European history in general, German history in particular. Apparently, there's a movie coming out, and Russell Crowe is playing Air Marshal Hermann Goering. You know who Hermann Goering was, right? He's the head of the Luftwaffe. Big fat dude. He was a World War I ace who, by the time he took command of Imperial Germany's Fighter Wing #1, he flew a desk, because the guy that created that fighter wing was none other than the Red Baron, Meister Manfred Freiherr von Richthofen, and his hand-chosen successor, Willy Reinhardt, Hauptmann Willy Reinhardt, he got shot down and killed. Goering flew a desk, right? His claim to fame was he won the Pour le Mérite. He had 16 Allied airplanes shot down. And Hitler basically co-opted him to say, I got a hero, you know. So, so basically, Hitler co-opts him. The Beer Hall Putsch in 1924 in Munich happens. Goering gets wounded, and he gets whisked away by two Jewish ladies who not only took care of him because he was wounded, they sent him to Sweden, where he met his wife, Karin. And he got married there. He also became a morphine addict. Now, the next time you see him, when he was basically became the president of the Reichstag, which was, it's the German legislature. You've all seen pictures of it, right? Somewhere, someplace, I've got a picture of it completely covered in like this parachute stuff because some artist from France wanted to do it and they let him do it. And an old friend of mine, Clement, who, Berliner, took the picture and was like, do you want this? I'm like, so he gave me a copy. Anyway, Goering ended up being the president of the Reichstag when the Nazis basically were the biggest party represented there. He was also accused of being one of the people who set the Reichstag on fire, and they found this, I'm going to say this communist from one of the Baltic states, named Marius, I can't, a communist from, I think, Holland, named Marius van der Lubbe, and it was basically a kangaroo court. He had nothing to do with this. And the guy was slow-witted. Well, he was communist, so he, very slow-witted. Communists are slow-witted. He basically got blamed for it. They framed him for it, and there you go. But Goering was the one behind that. He was also the head of the Luftwaffe. And by the time the war started, 1941, we'll say after the Battle of Britain, where the Germans lost that, and he was basically canceled. He spent most of his time at his house, his estate, Karin Hall, named after his first wife, who died before the war started. And they gave her a Viking funeral, literally. The casket rolls past a bonfire, whatever that means. He spent most of his time doped up on morphine, wearing, very funny, Kyle. I'll get back to Ray in a moment. Doped up on morphine, wearing women's fingernail polish and makeup, and running around in a Japanese kimono. Basically, the officers that were running the Luftwaffe for him would go to see him and be like, he did sign off on the final solution. During the Wannsee Conference, there was a representative of Goering there, and he signed off on it. So when he's finally caught, when the war's over, he was caught somewhere in Bavaria in a train car filled with stolen paintings from, amongst, art collectors all over France and, the occupied areas, Jewish collectors in particular, art collectors, jewelry and bags of, skincare products, and it's all for him. and his wife and his kid. And when they caught him, they dragged him in front of the colonel in Nuremberg, who was basically overseeing the jail. He was the jailer, the warden for the captured Nazi hierarchy, and he had his fingernails painted, and he's wearing blush. And the American colonel's looking at him like, what the fuck? Nowadays, Goering could have said, well, my name is Hannah Goering, and I'm a girl. You know, I mean, which I would not have doubted that would have been an escape plan. But anyway, bring him in. They noticed that he showed up with a ton of morphine tablets. He didn't shoot it up. He took it orally, and they started weaning him off it. They also made sure he lost weight, because I don't think that guy had seen his feet and his Herman Jr. in decades. I mean, he was huge. Like you can't believe how huge he was. So anyway, I'm gonna sneeze pretty soon, so just get ready. Anyway, that's passing. They started playing a cat and mouse game, and that's what this movie, starring Russell Crowe as Fat Hermann, Der Dicke, which means fatty in German. He's playing him, and I don't know who's playing the colonel, but they had a cat and mouse game because they were worried. One of the Nazis actually devised a way to strangle himself. He was, privacy curtain between the door and the window and the toilet, and he somehow hung himself. How, I don't know. I'm sure he suffered a great deal before he finally choked himself out. But they were worried about glass cyanide tablets being smuggled in. So these guys, before they could be executed, which was going to be the verdict and the sentencing, the sentencing, I should say, no matter what, they weren't going to get acquitted, because every one of those sons of bitches knew what they were doing, tried to deny it, and they not only victimized other Europeans, they tried to slaughter the entire population of Jews in Europe, and they victimized their own people. I mean, if you think about it. It's one of the things that socialist fascists like Nazis do, is they victimize by indoctrination an entire generation of people, right? And they did. They really did. And, I could get really in deep, really, really massively in deep with how they came to power and why. It's just not worth it right now. So Goering made friends with a Texas soldier, an NCO, and the guy would bring him up bags that he had in his locker, and there was one particular bag full of face creams and everything like that, because Goering was an effeminate weirdo. I mean, hard to believe a guy who liked to stylize himself as being a hunter and a mountain climber and a pilot, he's a fighter pilot, would be such a, what the hell, but he was. And the theory is, from what I can see, is that the glass cyanide tablet was was screwed underneath, like a hollow underneath one of the cream, canisters. And the German doctor that was looking after these guys, the scaffolding is being built in the gymnasium. What we were going to do after the sentencing happened is midnight on a certain date, all the prisoners would get marched out and get hung. The bodies, pictures taken so the families could see, bodies would go to a crematorium and then dumped in a river. They were not going to have any place where these Vipers could have memorials, because at the time people were worried about that. All right. So we think, historians think the doctor told Goering, yeah, it's going to happen tonight. And Goering said, okay. Now, he was playing a cat and mouse game with that colonel the entire time. There is a movie, or a docudrama here on YouTube called Nuremberg, Goering's Last Stand. And if you see it, you're going to absolutely be like, okay. And it was really good. The acting's amazing. The guy that played Goering is German. He's actually a pretty famous German TV actor. He was awesome. And, you know, Christoph Waltz once said to, who was it? I can't remember. To an interviewer who was like, how did you play so evil? And the German officer, the SS officer he played in Inglourious Bastards, right? And Waltz said he didn't think he was evil. You have to understand, the Nazis didn't think they were evil. So the guy playing him in Nuremberg, Goering's Last Stand, doesn't think he's evil, which I think makes his unbelievable performance even more gross. I mean, it's right up there with Bruno Ganz in the movie about Hitler's final days in the bunker. I've got that somewhere. He did the same thing. They got the ideas about what Hitler was really like from the writings of the people that the young women who were his secretaries. And he was not a raving lunatic. He could become a raving lunatic. But, what's that? What is that movie called? Anyway, it's at the tip of my tongue. Yeah, and Ian's right. Conspiracy is a great movie on HBO. The only thing about it is, why do they always have to get British actors to play these roles? You know, get German actors, and they would do it. So anyway, so the guy that played Goering in this docudrama I told you about, really good. And what happened the night they were going to be executed, before it happened, is one of each prisoner had an American GI watching them through the holes, through the windows in their cells, all the time. They didn't look in and walk away, they watched them. And, which would really, what a boring fucking life. The kid that was watching didn't notice didn't see what was going on. Somehow, Goering was able to get the glass cyanide capsule out, get it. He laid down in his bed. He was able to put it in his mouth. He rolled over on his back, or convulsed and rolled over on his back. And when you see the pictures of him dead, he's winking. He's like this, like that. You got to see the docudrama. This movie, I'll probably see it just to be pissed off, because I know they won't do it right, or they'll somehow make it about Trump, you know, some bullshit like that. But I like going, Russell Crowe. I mean, this is, and Cameron Pasha's right. You get a producer and a writer with the script, and they package it with a famous director and a movie star, Russell Crowe. There you go. Anyway, the Ray book, it's not in print. It's just an audiobook, right? Jaw attack on Juku, or what? I don't know what it's, you know. it just looks stupid. And I don't, who wants to spend $10 on that? I would rather listen to Taylor. I would rather be tortured to death listening to Taylor Swift. And I can't tell you one song that little bitch has sung in her whole life. And I don't care. Um, you know, but I just want to tell you guys that it looks to me that they're going beyond just not doing anything with the sequel trilogy. They're isolating it. And they're dumping anything that has to do with it now, right? As you guys know, yeah, I think Kyle is right there. Is that it's cheaper to do the audio, so just put it out there. They look when you've got garbage, you want to get it out there. You want to get what you want to flesh the lines, you know. So anyway, so I want to talk a little bit about that and rant a little bit about Goering, the movie with Russell Crowe. And I didn't know this, but apparently our little buddy, Anthony Ingruber's Australian. I thought he was from the Netherlands, but he's Australian, so that's probably why he's such a cutie. Australian guys are, you know. But anyway, I did a video about him yesterday. It's uploaded here if you want to see it. And look, it is time to revisit what was broken now and fix it. You can revisit young Indiana Jones and young Han Solo with him and fix what they broke and just ignore, well, it's not mimic. Go watch the video, Ian, that I uploaded yesterday. He doesn't have to mimic him. He sounds like him. Because I've got a little bit of him talking about the character he plays in Primitive War, and he's playing Han Solo in that. That's basically who he's playing. So it's like, I'm in, right? I'm in. Oh, I wanted to add this other one. Did you guys know Roger Waters from Pink Floyd, who is a dyed-in-the-wool anti-Semite, went on, I can't remember the website, but you can find it. He was in an interview trashing Ozzy Osbourne. Well, yesterday on Instagram, Jack Osbourne dropped a nuke on him and basically called him a see you next Tuesday. Basically said, my dad always thought you were a cunt. I'm like, no, this is me. Wait till Sharon gets a hold of him, right? Wait till Sharon. The one thing you'll never see me do, and because it's gross, is badmouth someone who died. Unless it's Adolf Hitler, or Hermann Goering, or Joseph Stalin, or the Ayatollah, or Ted Bundy, right? It's just, you don't do that. You can't. You can't do that. It's wrong to do that. So, there you go. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm losing my voice. I should go and see Miss K and maybe take the Ayatollah of rock and roll back there for a walk. I gotta come back anyway early because I gotta start dinner. I want dinner to be done by 4:30. I want to eat early tonight. I'm gonna do a oh God, Kyle, ick. I would probably have a priest come and do an exorcism. Ick, yuck. I mean, I don't really care too much about true crime stuff, but there are times, yeah, I bet you it was creepy. You ever want, I saw an interview, it was like a show where they were talking about Bundy, and his cousin said he used to be over at her house all the time when she was in college. And one night, she had a bunch of people over there. They made dinner and they were playing music. Ted was dancing with one of her sorority sisters. And the look on his face was unrecognizable. His eyes turned black and it was just freaking weird. And I'm like, he was possessed by a devil, by the devil. That's demonic. If someone's face changes that much, there's more than one going on in there. There's more than one thing. And it's just, I mean, wow. The manipulative stuff that he got away with. You know, I mean, like, how the hell? Anyway, so this has been all over the place, but watch the video about Ingruber. I do want to say that I don't have any direct to him. I do know that from just by watching The Dial of Destiny that he was in the movie, because when you see they're trying, dumbass Phoebe Waller-Bridge is trying to sell the Antikythera device. You've got these collectors, and he's got the big mustache standing. All right, you look at the screen, he's standing over on this side, right? So go to that scene if you can. You got Disney Plus. Scroll over because you'll see him. I know it was him the moment I saw it, and I was like, well, you know, and I've had a pretty good theory that he was on Harrison Ford's radar for a long time, because I don't know where I heard it, but Harrison Ford wanted him to play Han Solo, and that was his, you know, guy, and Kennedy overrode him. I mean, and gave the role to, you know, Spielberg's accountant's son, who my dog could play Han Solo better than awful Aaron Yuck. Yeah, anyway. So I thought I'd add that too, but go watch the video because I think it's great. Anyway, I gotta rock and roll. The mayor waits for no one. I'll see you guys around the galaxy.